Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Don Donald, and this is Motivation on Tees. Today, we will be looking at this wonderful statement and the motto of successful people in life: it's not over until you win. It's not over until you win. I will tell you what happened when I was considering this highly challenging statement. Two sets of three realities of life each came into my mind. And they are these. The first set of three is: 1. Life is a battle. 2. Life is a game. 3. Life is a race. And also there can only be three outcomes to each of these three realities, which is the second set of three. Again I say, there are only three possibilities to these distinct realities of life that occurred to me. You can only do three things or react in three different ways to these three realities, because you only have three options to choose from. And they are: 1. You can either quit the battle, game or race of life, or 2. Die in the battle, or 3. Win. You can either accept defeat and quit, or faint and die, or persist until you win. You don't have any other option besides these three. And let me tell you something today: unless you die in the battle, the game and the race of life, you can only either quit or win. Of course, you know that quitters never win and winners never quit. The only thing that ends the battle, the game or the race of life indefinitely is death. If you don't die, if you live, the battle, the game, the race is never ever declared over until you quit or win. It's only over when you call it a quit or win. So what am I saying today? I'm saying that you are greatly gifted by nature with an indefinite period of time to battle your way through life, play the game of life and run the race to the end to emerge the winner. And that is why I tell you today, it's never over until you win. I will give you a story, but before I tell you this story, let me first do a quick contrast. Sometimes, in the case of the human battle, game or race that we all are familiar with, it can be said to be over without a victor, victim or vanquished. In some games, it is called a draw, a game over. But there definitely is no draw in the game of life except you choose to drag it. You either win or lose. You either quit or win. You either fail or succeed. I will now tell my story. I must confess that I love the American nation and her long-coming ever-inspiring history. This nation called America, in her journey to nationhood, once had a man with a very remarkable story that I want to tell you today. This man was born into a very poor family with illiterate parents. At one time, very early in his life, his family was forcefully ejected from their home and he had to work so hard in very menial jobs to support them. Not too long from then, his beloved mother died. Great shock indeed. But in the midst of all that unbearable and irreparable loss of a mom, he never thought of quitting. No sooner than he lost his mom, he also lost his job. At a point, he decided to go to law school but couldn't get admission. He failed many times also in business, and once suffered a nervous breakdown and was in bed for a whole 6 months as a result of the experience. He could have quitted many times, but he still didn't quit. As a matter of fact, he at one time borrowed money from a friend to start a business, but before the end of that year, he totally went bankrupt. And as a result of that, he had to devote a whopping 17 years of his life struggling to pay off his debt. I wish I had all the time and space in the world to enumerate all this man's woes and failures here, but yet he never gave up. At a point, he was even engaged to be married, but before he knew it, his sweetheart died in between the period of the marriage, and again he was devastated and his heart broken. If you are looking for the truest and the greatest example of persistence and perseverance since the history of man's occupation of this planet, look no further. I show you this man. He ran for elections and lost 8 good times, but he still persevered until he ascended the highest position in the planet, of becoming the President of the United States of America. The man, Abraham Lincoln. And being the president, he fought so hard to keep that union, the union of the states, even at the darkest hour of America's history, during her Civil War. He abolished slave trade, boosted the federal government, and modernized the U.S. economy until he later became a statesman who was said to have led the nation of America through her greatest moral, constitutional and political crisis in the Civil War. He is none other but the most noble president of the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln. He was nicknamed the Great Emancipator, the Honest Abe, with numerous other nicknames. His famous quote of absolute confidence before he won this grand election of becoming a president was, "I will prepare, and someday surely my chance will come." And that day surely came, and that chance finally came, and he won that great outstanding victory. Abraham Lincoln. Let me tell you today, the man, Abraham Lincoln, couldn't have made it to the White House if he didn't understand deeply and very early in his life This very life principle that I'm drumming so hard about today, that it's never over until you win. President Abraham Lincoln became the 16th President of the United States, and was one of the most successful presidents in America's history. He later realized his lifelong dream of becoming a lawyer, having taught himself through grammar, mathematics and law, and having passed the American bar examination of 1836, he publicly began to practice law. Throughout the course of Abraham Lincoln's humble, struggling and hard-working life, he had his hands on through so many vocations. From plowman to farmer to rail splitter to flatboatman to storekeeper to postmaster to surveyor to captain to businessman to lawyer to legislator to even a volunteer, before he finally became the most noble president. Can you now understand my story, that it's not over yet until you win? You are the only one that can change this fact. Don't ever forget that. Whenever you want to quit, whenever you feel like quitting, always remember that it's not over yet, and never will be over until you win. I will see you in the next video. Please subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notification bell, so you are notified every time we upload a new video. Also leave a comment and share our videos with your friends and family if you found them valuable. Thank you all.